Hi lads and lasses, and all the rest of you. Let's continue with our series of simple offbeat basses in Irish tunes, and let's look at polkas, where these offbeat basses will prove very effective. Okay? So this polka is one of Johnny Leary's polka number 2. Some people call it the Two or More polka number 2, but there are hundreds of polkas associated with Johnny Leary, so it's the one that goes like this anyway. Here's the melody for you. Just very slowly, so you can, if you can't pick it up from the faster version. Second part. Or you can do, using the outer F sharp, and so there's 3 ways you can tackle that long A at the beginning of the second part. You can play just a very long A. Actually, just a long A with no D would be like this. And if you do that, use a little bit of offbeat pulse to get a real polka feel. Or you could play. Or as I showed you. Okay, so that's the basic tune. Get that down and then we'll look at the basses. Now, the first part of this tune is a complete doddle, cinch, for the basses, because you can do the whole thing on one bass button pair. And the thing is, just to remind you, we're doing offbeat basses because, particularly in Irish polkas, if you played constant bass chord, it's really too much, it's clunky, it's horrible. So we just take off most of the bass buttons, except when we're changing chords, and Bob's your uncle. You get a lovely offbeat accompaniment which drives the tune along very nicely. And as I say, you could do other things. You could use a few G's here and there in this first part, but we're going to stick on the D-A bass chord pair, and this is what you need to get the hang of. So start with a bass chord, and remember, in polkas, if you play bass chord, the chord comes very hard on the heels of the basses. No time to wait for intervening notes. It's going to be like that. So that's a good point to remember. The other thing to remember is that if you're having trouble getting the offbeats, if you manage to tap your foot on the onbeat, your offbeat will come in between your foot taps. Okay? So that's another way to remember. Let's look at the first part. And that's all there is to it. So just practice that and you'll be flying very soon. The second part is a little trickier because it's based around A chord and on our C sharp G boxes, unfortunately, our A chords are in 2 places, push and pull. And there's a few places where we need to get the offbeat on the push, so we'll be swapping. So when you see me swapping up here, it's not to change chords, it's just to get exactly the same chord, but on the push rather than on the pull. So, using the very simple melody version just along E as the first part. Sorry. Again, another push there. And on we go. You can use a couple of extra chords here to relieve the monotony. We can go to a G and then an A push. So slowly, the second part. Or slowly. And that's really all there is to it. So work on that and have fun, and then try it with other polkas. You'll find it really makes your polkas, gives it some zing, especially if you combine it with, as I was trying to show you in the way I played the melody, with if you played the melody. Try and get that feeling into the melody, and the basses will just add the icing on the cake.